Boom, what's up, fam? Anthony Johnson here again today, founder of 21 Studios and the 21 Convention. I appreciate you tuning into today's video, as well as a previous video about being suspended from the YouTube Partner Program just recently in December. So appreciate your time and attention. Got some more big news to share today, both good news and bad news, both pretty important. And before we dive into that, before we jump in, I got some other announcements I want to talk about here. Got my little notes I'm going through. So first of all, I read through every single comment on the video itself on our channel, 21 Studios, about this whole issue. And I appreciate you guys' feedback and engagement and support and all your thoughts on what happened. I read through all the comments there, as well as the community tab. Shout out to the community tab, my favorite thing on the internet. I fucking love that thing. So I read through all the comments there. There was a couple hundred there too, about the posts corresponding to this video. And then I also posted the video to my personal Twitter, and it went viral there. Got another 30,000 views, which is pretty cool. So I appreciate all the feedback, retweets, and engagement there too, as well as on YouTube and the community tab. It means a lot to me to get feedback from you guys and a signal for what you guys think about this big issue going on. It's been pretty wild. On a personal note, the whole experience from the get-go, I didn't say this last time, but I'll say it now. I felt like getting kicked in the balls by someone running like full speed. I really sucked waking up on December 29th and then seeing that like midday. A pretty bad way to end the year and start off the new year. So it was not cool. And I think a lot of you guys felt that too, the passion and the anger I saw in the comments. I don't blame you. I was big mad too when it all went down back in December just recently. But I will say that it was a big gut check for why I started my channel and my company like 15 years ago. I've been through a lot of personal and professional ups and downs since then, just in life. We all go through that growing up from your teens and 20s and your 30s. Family and friends die, things happen, divorces, all kinds of crazy shit. And the channel and the company have been with me throughout that time. And a lot of you guys too that have been subscribed, not just for a couple months or a couple years, but some of you have been around for 5, 10 years, even longer than that. So I appreciate you being around, being engaged, staying involved, and tell me what you think about this whole experience of what happened, the whole situation. I want to mention too that I had a good talk with my good friend Jesse Lee Peterson, Reverend JLP. Check him out on YouTube. Go search. Shout out to him. So me and him had a good talk about this issue privately on the phone a couple days ago, and he said something to me that I want to share with you guys because I saw a little bit of it in the comments, but I want to make it known even wider. So basically, when you're making a real impact in the world, when you're reaching millions of men and women even, and impacting how people live their lives like this in a really positive, productive kind of way, you're going to generate haters, number one. Okay, it is what it is. It's the internet. But on top of that, you make real enemies, right? Not just, insults and, even death threats and crap like that, which I've gotten. Some people went after my family over the past couple of years, which is like way too far. But it's a story for another day. But you make real enemies, like big corporations, big tech, stuff like that, because you're making real impact. If you were not, they just wouldn't care. They wouldn't give a shit. So in a way, like some of you mentioned, it's kind of a mark of honor. This even happening with the YouTube Partner Program suspension and all that. And it's a reflection that we're making a real impact in the world and the lives of men. Last year alone on YouTube, just 1 year, 2021, we reached over 30 million people just on YouTube, and then even more on other platforms like 21 University, Twitter accounts, stuff like that. So it's just part of growing up. It's part of maturing as a company and as a man, as an entrepreneur. You make an impact, you're going to make enemies, particularly when you're in the manosphere like we are, manosphere content creator, this whole channel. All the men, we kind of gather, this big platform. And we're, in the manosphere, we're unified against, as a unified front in a way, against feminism. And in my view, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but feminism is the biggest establishment in the world, and particularly in America, right? They control everything. All the schools, all the governments, all the military, the state government, the federal government, schools, colleges, universities, Hollywood, entertainment, media, the news. Everything's feminist 99% of the time. It's all feminist, all this crap. And the manosphere universally just kind of rejects feminism, right? On a good day, we'd call it stupid. Feminism's toxic and stupid. So that puts our channel, 21 Studios, and really any manosphere content creator in the eyesights and the radar of a lot of, very powerful people, organizations that all very much promote feminism, and they're very unnerved by anything that, even dares to criticize feminism at all, which we do quite openly and quite aggressively. So it's just part of what we do. It's part of being an organization that makes real impact. And things like this are bound to happen even again in the future. More on that in a minute. So I will jump right into the good news now. Let's knock it out. We won our appeal, 100%. Now, there are some downsides that are pretty serious that we'll get into in a minute still, so it's not perfect. But fundamentally, the most important battle is winning the appeal, and we won. They actually got back to us really fast. They promised a response in 14 days, and they actually got back in less than 24 hours once we sent the video in. So I think the video is really good. I'm really proud of it. A lot of you agreed, shared your thoughts on that. There's a few, critical comments. It's not perfect, I know that, but I gave it my best. I gave it my heart and soul, and we fucking won. So for whatever reason, people at YouTube, the employees that reviewed it, I think about 10 did. There was about 10 views in the special like video we sent in. So it went around and they accepted it really fast. Now, also, I want to mention just very briefly, I don't want to get into it too much because I think it needs to be private, but I can share a little bit. When this all went down, it involved so much money that I lawyered up immediately. I contacted our attorney. I told him about what happened with YouTube, and we immediately, within a few days, we sent YouTube a 6-page letter, pretty fat, pretty meaty. I love our attorney. He's an awesome dude. He's actually a family and marriage therapist, like Dr. Robert Glover, one of our speakers, Ken Curry, kind of like Sean Smith, if you guys know him too. So he's not only an attorney, but he's a therapist and he cares about what we do. So he jumped in on this immediately, sent him a big letter. It was not threatening, so we have never threatened to sue YouTube or anything like that. But it was firm, professional, and pretty stern for trying to get information about what happened, transparency, and then also asking them to just reverse it. So I know they got that letter. They didn't actually respond to it officially, but I did confirm that they received it. I don't know if that influenced their decision or not. I don't know. But I think given the nature of how much money was involved, $11,000 at minimum, plus even last year we made over $90,000, almost 100 grand in 2021 on YouTube. It's an important pillar at 21 Studios as a business, even beyond YouTube. So it's one of the pillars that we use for finances financially. So I'm happy we did that, and maybe it had a positive impact on their decisions. I don't know, but it was very similar to the video itself you guys saw: professional, firm, polite, and kind of communicating the important points of what we do and why we think it was unfair. For example, our 14-year history in the platform with 0 strikes and all that. The bottom line is we won, and for the haters that were on Reddit and Twitter and other channels on YouTube, they can eat shit and suck my balls. We won. Now that's not a permanent win, of course. YouTube could do this at any point again. We don't know, but we'll see. We'll get into some of the comments about that in just a minute. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, though. Stay tuned just a second, and we'll keep going here. On to the bad news, part 2 here. So I want to make a comment real quick that a lot of you put in the comments too, and I felt it personally as well. And I was really mad when this happened, and some of you even wanted me to be much more aggressive with YouTube, maybe threaten to sue them or something like that, and take even all this legal action. Some other channels on YouTube have done that and tried. A good friend, DDJ from Miss Andrew Today, tried that. He fought a lawsuit against YouTube back about a year and a half ago. And then Prager University, you guys might be familiar with that in the news. They tried as well. They have like millions of fans and millions of dollars to work with. And probably the biggest high profile one of all is Steven Crowder. He works at The Blaze. He's got like 5 million subscribers on YouTube. He's like kind of a comedian, political commentator. And he's actually currently threatening to sue YouTube. I don't know if he followed through yet or not. And he's had issues with the partner program too. We'll talk about that later. But, I didn't want to go there. I decided that being aggressive with YouTube was not the right tone to take. It was not the right move at all. And we chose a much different tone, as you guys saw in that video, the appeal video, and even with the attorney. It was professional, polite, firm, and kind of reiterating and stating like the case that we've been on YouTube for a long time. We've had no issues. So I do want to say that I get the anger, I get the frustration a lot of you felt. I felt that myself very much early on. But again, I chose a different path, and I think it was the right one. And we won the appeal. So obviously, I think that kind of proves that, or at least demonstrates that was probably the right move to make. I will agree though with you guys. Some of you put it really well in the comments. The best way I think to explain the anger that I felt, and even you guys, is that this move by YouTube as a big tech company, one of the big 4 or 5, with Google obviously that owns them, Facebook or Meta, whatever the fuck they call it now, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. This kind of move by a huge company, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, against a small business like 21 Studios, it just looks bad because it's a bad business practice, right? It's not fair, it's unjust, and there's no transparency. And for example, there was 0 videos cited. We had over 2,000 available to cite as an example of what they found objectionable or had a problem with, and they gave us no examples. So there's a lot of unfairness to it, and I think you guys see that as a third party or a fan of what we do, and you love YouTube as well probably, and you're frustrated at how they act. So I don't think I don't agree, with what they did in the first place, but they did come around and make the right move. They took the right action in the total context of it. They reversed the decision. We won the appeal. We reinstated the partner program and all that. So it's frustrating. I know. I don't like what they did. I think it's bad business practice, to put it mildly. But at least in this case, they came back around. So that's good. Another channel, I want to make a comment too, that other big tech platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they wouldn't do this, right? They're even more heavy-handed than YouTube. So I'll stick up for YouTube a little bit in this case because they did the right thing. At least they were willing to consider an appeal and had an appeal process. And then they took the right action. They actually reversed their decision and undid it. So there is still some bad news we'll get into here, but at least they did the right thing. And frankly, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they would never do that. They don't give a crap. So at least in this case, YouTube is still a company that I think has a much better history on the internet and maybe a better future, but we'll see. So on to the bad news. Even though we won our appeal, there's about a $16,000 cash flow hit to my company, 21 Studios. That's 16,000, so it's a lot of money. It's not crazy like 100 grand or a million, obviously, but it's still like a $16,000 interruption to what we do. To explain that in more detail, as you guys saw in the last video, there's about $11,000, 10,900 and change that was missing from December. It got zeroed out when we were suspended from the program. But I did talk with YouTube through the creator support emails and stuff, and they verified that we will see that money. It is coming back at the end of February. So it's a little bit, about a month delayed. So it's not the end of the world, but it's $11,000 that's missing now until the end of February. It just kind of sucks. And ultimately, they reversed the decision. We believed that what they did was a mistake. And in some capacity, they agreed and reversed their decision from December 29th. Still, we're missing about 11,000 in the meantime. This kind of sucks. On top of that, we lost 5,000 in my estimation. You guys will see that on the screen now. Somewhere between 4.5 and 5,500. So we'll just call it 5. During the suspension window, we made $0 or like a couple cents per day, because technically YouTube can still run ads on your channel even when you're not in the partner program. They added this a couple years ago, and it pissed off like a lot of creators. Anyway, I don't want to get too in the weeds on that, but basically during this window, we lost $5,000, and that money doesn't exist, so we're never going to see it. And had the channel been operating normally during that time, we would have seen that money in our January payment that's also sent at the end of February. So that just kind of sucks. Basically a big oopsie by YouTube cost us $5,000 hard on top of like missing $11,000 temporarily. So it just sucks. It's a mistake by YouTube. To them, that's not a lot of money. Obviously, they deal with billions of dollars. To my company, $5,000 is a substantial amount of money. That's like buying a used car, right? It's not pocket change to most people. So it sucks. And also I want to mention too that December has super high ad rates and that January tends to be a lot lower. So December tends to be the best month of the year, and then January the worst for like every channel on YouTube. That's because of the holidays, and then January is kind of like a dead season. So that's part of what you're seeing, but even considering that, it's about $5,000. So it just sucks when you combine it all together. On top of that, for bad news, so they turned back the ads on. We had a button to turn on all the ads on the channel, and they actually they enabled all of them, but it did not restore the settings we had that we've been working on for like 10, 11 years since we joined the channel or the partner program, like in 2011. So basically, like a TV channel, when I place ads on a video or one of my assistants, I try to place them about every 15, 20 minutes on like a speech, or an interview that's pretty long. I think it's pretty fair, kind of like TV. And I typically disable too the non-skippable ads because I hate those. And if I hate them, I'm sure you guys do too. It's a pain in the ass. The skippable ones are not so bad, and they still make good money. So I think it's kind of a fair practice for our channel. It's what I like to do. I want it to be a good experience for you guys too as a viewer and a fan. And basically all the ads that we placed in these speeches are gone. So if you hit automatically too, it screws it up. It'll put, you guys probably seen this, like you'll watch a video, there'll be ads like every 2 minutes. It's just crazy. Like it doesn't even make sense. And so you can't do it automatically. You got to do it manually, which is what we've been doing forever. And that's all gone now. So we have like hundreds and hundreds of videos that are just fucked up. They're not short. They're long videos. They're an hour long, 2 hours long. And for years, they generate good ad money. So basically the bottom line is these settings in our videos across hundreds and hundreds of videos, even thousands, is messed up. And they basically reduced the ads by like, 4 or 5 in a long video to 2 on the beginning and the end. So it's just one more pain in the ass thing that's going to take a while to fix. And in the meantime, it's kind of like kneecapped or undercut the typical earnings we'd get on YouTube through advertising. So it just sucks. It's not fun. It's one more thing stacked on top of the 5,000 that we're never going to see and the 11,000 that's missing till the end of February. On top of that, there's one more thing, right? It doesn't even stop there. We still have hundreds and hundreds of videos that have a yellow limited monetization icon on them. This started in, I think, like late 2015, early 2016. It was called the YouTube Adpocalypse. There's actually a couple waves of the Adpocalypse, it's called. You can search it in the news. And this basically affected all since then. So it's been happening for years to us, all the manosphere channels, and really any channel that talks about anything controversial at all, anything that tries to promote the truth in this woke shitstorm feminist utopia we live in. And so all manosphere channels get it. Everything on YouTube that's not like CNN, Fox News, a TV show, like a late night show, or, some stupid channel talking about like makeup tutorials, like that kind of bullshit. So if you talk about anything controversial, they give you a bunch of limited monetization things, and it sucks. So for example, what that does to a video If we put a video out and it gets 100,000 views in a month, it's pretty good. It'll make, maybe 200 bucks or something like that, 250, right? That's a green approved sign. If it has the yellow sign, which a bunch of videos do, instead of making 250 bucks, it'll make like $1 or $2. It's like literally a 99% drop in revenue. It just goes through the floor and it sucks. I've not done enough to bitch about that, I guess, over the years. Maybe I should have. But as an entrepreneur, I try to take responsibility for things happening to my company as a default, and I don't try to throw that at you guys. So basically, it's my job to figure out how to navigate monetizing the videos, not you guys. Maybe I should have spoken up sooner, but that's been an ongoing problem that is still in place for a lot of our videos. And it's kind of is what it is. It's been happening to all Manosphere channels, like I said, for a long time. And just one more thing stacked on top of all these other problems that we get now from the partner program suspension, even though we won the appeal. So it just sucks. And it's been going on for us and a lot of your favorite channels, independent ones, for a long time. If you're in that top tier club, PewDiePie was a good dude. I got no problem with him. But, top tier, PewDiePie or these huge channels like CNN and the TV shows, they don't deal with that shit. And YouTube back in the day had none of these problems, right? Everybody was treated equally and kind of fairly. And then a couple years ago, it started changing. So it sucks. And it's just one more fucking problem stacked on top of all these other problems we're getting now with all the money and stuff. So bottom line, there's a lot of problems at YouTube, and the latest actions were a new escalation in my view. It has happened to a couple of the guys. I mentioned Jesse Lee Peterson earlier, and he actually got demonetized as well, similar circumstances about a year ago, and he did not get it back. So that sucks. He's a good dude. He's got a big channel, 300-some thousand. He has a Fallen State channel too. Coach Greg as well. So a lot of you guys know him. Good buddy, good dude. One of our best speakers for sure. And he got demonetized as well. Similar, like very shady circumstances, no transparency. A couple months ago, I think like 4 or 5 months ago. And he's reapplied for the program. They're letting him reapply, not appeal. It's different. And he's still waiting, of course. I talked to him the other day. So, and they're probably never going to let him back in. I know another guy, Tony Bruno, he applied for he has a smaller channel, a couple thousand, followers. He applied for the partner program like a year ago, and he's still fucking waiting. So Coach Greg is probably going to be waiting forever. And Jesse Lee is I don't even think they'll let him back in at all. So there's a lot of this weird stuff that they do. And demonetizing these channels is a new thing. I think before, like a year ago, I didn't really see this on YouTube. I never heard of it. You do see it sometimes with like Steven Crowder, those big ass channels that fight with YouTube and lawsuits and all this stuff. But even there's a history of community strikes. They kind of trump up these hate speech charges and shit like that. And they'll kick him out of the partner program and then they'll let him back in. And then kick him out and then let him back in. And it's this constant, back and forth kind of catfight they have. But he's lawyered up and he's threatened to sue them and all that stuff. So it's different. And there's a pattern of them having problems with him, right? We didn't have any of that. I don't know about Coach Greg. I kind of doubt he had any problems either. We didn't have any, like I showed you guys and talked to you about. We had no community strikes, no copyright strikes, and poof, they took it all with no warning. So even giving it back, it's still like a bad business practice. It's not fair and it's not fun. And it's just a zero transparency kind of thing, which is not good. If they want to be this big video company and, have this amazing platform, right? It's been like a printing press for the average person in America to make videos since the 2000s now, right? Reaching millions and millions of people. Never before in history has this been possible. Even with the advent of the internet, there wasn't really a video component yet. So it sucks that they do this. I think YouTube should do better. I think they're capable of better. I think they did better in the past, before like 2015, 2016. And hopefully in the future, they do better as well. All right, man. So in this part, you guys were asking me in the video, in the comments and stuff, and on the community tab, and even on Twitter, and through the newsletter and all the stuff that went out, you guys are asking me how you can help. How can you help? How can you help? How can you help? So I could describe to you the problems. Even though we won, we still have some pretty negative damage from this and bad news. 11,000 missing, 5,000 we just completely lost. And there's still like a bunch of videos that have a yellow sign, and our ads kind of got like screwed up and when they got re-enabled. So there's all kinds of like stupid little problems. And above all, I want to share with you the comment from Better Bachelor. Basically, like this happening, we won our appeal, right? Better Bachelor's rooting for us. Shout out to him. I appreciate that. But even though we won our appeal, like he said in this comment, it's probably going to happen again. And we don't know when. It might happen in 6 months. It might happen in 6 years. I don't fucking know. Nobody knows except people working on YouTube, right? And one of the issues too is not just it happening again, probably with no warning all over again. I mean, if they did better, I'd appreciate that, but really I don't expect that. And I think a lot of you watching, you don't expect that either. They'll probably just do it again whenever they feel like it, or someone gets mad, or someone, who knows, right, how they do it, because they don't tell you. But the biggest issue is we don't know like when it'll happen. There'll be no warning, right? And what that means is for my company, we have kind of 3 pillars, right? Most channels don't. Most channels are like 99% dependent on YouTube for money. For us, it's an important pillar of three. We also have 21 University since 2015. That's our own premium video service, like a Netflix that we built, like a Netflix for men for our own content. It's pretty cool. It's even got apps on the app stores, like Google and Apple App Store. Anyway, though, we got 21 Studios, YouTube partner money. We have 21 University. And then we have 21 Summit, 21 Convention, our live events that we build every year in Orlando and even around the world, like Poland and stuff, throughout Europe, and Australia, and all that you guys saw. So we have that. Most channels don't. So if they lost YouTube, they'd be like ultra fucked. For us, it still like sucks. It's a big hit to the company, and it's a pain in the ass, to put it nicely. But at least we have these other things. Even so, we don't know when now that pillar basically of finances to monetize the video, it's unstable. I don't know when it's going to go away again. And YouTube, it's demonstrated through their actions, right? Not promises, not nice words, not some, we care about the creators, independence and free speech or free expression, right? All that stuff. The reality is their actions are much different than what they say. And I don't know when they're going to do it again. I hope they don't. I like YouTube. I want to be on it for a long time. I've been on it since I was like 18 years old, making videos all the time, every day. So the issue there, though, is we don't know when that's going to happen again. And that's a big problem, right? I can't depend on that anymore, not even a little bit, right? It would be stupid to depend on that in terms of a reliability thing, right? Going forward, a dependency thing or a stability issue, put it that way. So while this has been, a major impact to our channel, it's not life-threatening like it would be for other channels, but still it sucks. I don't like it. So basically what we need to do is increase our independence from YouTube. And the number one thing you guys can do to help out, the easiest thing you can do, it's fast, easy, free, and simple, is go to 21studios.com and join the newsletter. Just go to 21studios.com right at the top, put in your email, and join our newsletter. The reason for that is if we ever lose, our YouTube in general, like the whole thing, they just terminate the channel, which can happen, right? My friend Stefan Molyneux, a lot of you guys know him. He had a big channel, almost 1 million, and with no strikes at all, right? He had a history of strikes a little bit, so I guess there's that. But he had 0 strikes at the time because they go away every 90 days. He had no strikes in the middle of 2020. Poof. Took his whole channel, man. Terminated the whole thing, deleted all thousands of videos. He had like 3,000, 4,000 videos or something, all gone. Poof. So that can happen anytime. Like kind of like the monetization, they don't really have to give you a warning. They should, and that would be the right thing to do, even by their own kind of program. But the reality is they can just kind of do what they want. And even if you have millions of dollars like, Prager University and The Blaze and Steven Crowder, you really can't sue them and win. Everybody that sues them loses. So it's just totally fucked. Anyway, the best thing to do is join our newsletter at 21studios.com. That way, if anything like that ever happens, which is like nuclear, right? They just terminate you, just toast your ass. We can still contact you and tell you where we're going to rebuild and import our videos to a new platform, stuff like that. So it's free, easy, fast. Join the newsletter. But again, the biggest thing we got to do is increase our independence from YouTube, because that pillar of finances to monetize the videos and make them free to the world, I don't depend on that anymore. I don't count on it, right? They've shown through action that we can't rely on that. They'll take it whenever they feel like it, not only from us, but from Coach Greg, Jesse Lee Peterson, anybody on YouTube, right? Manosphere Adjacent, other independent creators, they don't give a fuck. They're just going to do what they want. I want to say too, though, a lot of you know about Patreon. A lot of channels use Patreon to kind of fan fund what they do. I think the concept's cool, but I think Patreon is a trap. I don't trust Patreon at all, because Patreon, in my view, in my opinion, is basically the big tech wing of like fan funding compared to like YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all that. And I say that because Patreon has a history of banning people, kind of like big tech platforms, right, that are much more bigger than Patreon is. For example, they banned Sargon of Akkad a couple years ago, and that pissed off Jordan Peterson, Dave Rubin, and Sam Harris. They had 3 of the biggest Patreon channels on there, and all of them said fuck it, and they left. They deleted their Patrons. They were making I think Jordan Peterson was making like $60,000 a month on Patreon. They just threw it away because it was a opposition to cancel culture, right, to promote free speech. Patreon was not supposed to do that, and it was stupid and frivolous what they banned Sargon of Akkad for. Totally stupid nonsense. So I don't trust Patreon at all, and I think anybody on Patreon should get off of it and shift to another platform, a competitor, which is what we're going to do. So I'm all about fan funding now. I think it's a good thing. It's been going on for a couple of years, but again, I don't trust Patreon at all. Locals is the way to go. I got no problem with Subscribestar, and you guys can talk about that in the comments. Maybe we'll start one someday. But I do think Locals, which is co-founded by Dave Rubin, is the way to go. So we're launching Locals, and we're going to have our videos there, exclusive videos, exclusive live streams, exclusive content. You guys can engage with me, other speakers, and we're actually going to put speeches there that are not on YouTube and before they hit YouTube too. We do that with 21 University, like I said, for a couple of years now, and the speeches still go there first. The issue is that 21 University is a video service, not like a fan funding service. So it was never designed to be like standalone, be like a fan thing for you guys to like fund what we do. It's more like a little Netflix, like I said. And alongside YouTube for so many years now, since 2015, it's worked really well, like a premium video thing and then free videos on YouTube. But since we can't count on YouTube anymore, we got to do like a fan funding thing. So we'll still have 21 University. If you guys are members there, I appreciate that 100%. 21 University is the number one way to support what we do. But locals now is a new thing you guys can join too. And for example, with 21 University, I didn't want to like, kind of force fit a square peg in a round hole, as the saying goes, for like customized, donations and stuff like that. It's not for that. It's a video service with apps like Netflix and Hulu and stuff like that. So this way on locals, you guys can join it and you can pay whatever you want. If you pay at least $5 a month, you actually become a member. You can make your own posts, engage with other fans, stuff like that, get access to exclusive videos, all that stuff. But the point is you can pay whatever you want. So if you want to pay $5, that's fine. If you want to pay $20, kind of like 21 University, that's fine. If you want to pay $50, that's fine, or $100 a month, that's fine, whatever you want. You can even give like a one-time donation on locals. Locals is super cool. They give us 90% of the money you guys donate. They take a 10% fee, which I think is fine. YouTube, by comparison, takes 45% of advertising revenue, 45%, and then we keep 55, like all of the channels. So it's pretty intense. And locals, I think, is a much better way to do that. And you guys get to fund what we do directly, right? We don't got to count on all the advertisers and YouTube partner program and frivolously taking it away and then giving it back and like all this stuff. I want to say too that it's important to fund like the content creators that you really support and do it directly through a couple bucks a month, something like that. Basically, it's a kneecap when they can really kneecap a creator when they take away their money, right? You can get banned from any platform for all kinds of stupid reasons today. But if you have fan funding through an independent platform like Locals or even Subscribestar, and unreliably, I think Patreon, but even something like that, you can rebuild your platform anywhere you want, right? You can move, you can find a new place. There's competitors to YouTube, other platforms and stuff, alt tech, new tech, all kinds of stuff like that. But if they kill off your money, you're fucked, right? Again, like these YouTube channels, they don't have other sources of revenue like we do, like 21 University and 21 Summit live events. So it's really important to fund the creators you care about, what you guys value. But moving on, I want to say that easiest thing you guys can do is go to 21studios.com/donate, and it explains all the stuff with YouTube and how to help out. Join 21 University, join Locals, our new Locals we're launching. You can send a direct donation there too. You can find out how to get tickets and the other ways to support us. For example, 21 University is a lifetime option, and you guys, you can that way just pay once, never pay again. It's a lifetime option, all kind of cool stuff like that. Again, with Locals, shout out to Better Bachelor. He was the pioneer moving to Locals maybe like a year ago, not even. So he was the first guy to do that from the manosphere that I know of. I have seen other people in the manosphere try to do crowdfunding and stuff through like Patreon. But again, I think Patreon's a trap. I don't trust it at all. They don't support free speech. Locals does. Dave Rubin's a cool dude. I met him in person. Great dude, solid dude. Just moved to Florida. And I don't know if he's going to like fight a war for free speech, literally, but I think he really does care about it. He does support it 100%. And the company he built, Locals, I think is really good, really solid. And I'm throwing my eggs in that basket. I think it's worthwhile. I think it's going to work. And I chose Locals too over Subscribestar because I think long-term Locals is going to win out. Again, I got no problem with Subscribestar, but Locals, my gut says, is a long-term victor in this kind of competitive free speech race to push out, Patreon as a bunch of frauds. On top of just moving to Locals, I'm going to encourage all my friends in the manosphere, all the speakers I know that have a YouTube channel and also any kind of platform like that, to start a Locals. Because of what YouTube's done, being so unfair and not transparent, I really want to push all my friends to be financially independent of YouTube, anything like that, build a thing up on Locals. And you should do that as a fan too. If you know someone on YouTube you like, manosphere or not, you should tell them and ask them like, hey, why don't you have a Locals? Do you have a Locals? You should start a Locals. Everybody should go to Locals, that we're financially independent of YouTube. It's a good thing. I'm going to close out this segment and say that the last option on this row is to donate directly to what we do. You can do that through Locals, but also through this little donate link. You can donate once, you can donate monthly, whatever you guys want to do. Everything's appreciated, whether it's $5, $10, $100, $1,000, whatever. I've seen donations as little as like $5 and $10 back in October, just last year. We had a $500 donation come in, and I've seen as high as $3,000 back in 2018. So whatever you guys do, it helps. It goes to editing, operating expenses, rent, utilities, all kinds of stuff we got to do. Got a lot of people to pay with our events, editors and photographers, videographers, hotels, a lot of stuff. And I appreciate it. So if our videos have ever helped you a month ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, whatever it is, now's the time to step up, donate, and we appreciate it big time, man. It goes to pay real people in real life and help us keep going, making videos that help millions of men. The last thing you'll see in this help out part is basically you can attend our events. We have a 21 Summit coming up this October. That has 3 conventions, one for men, one for fathers, one for women. You can pre-order our tickets soon, not yet, so they're not on sale yet. But if you get on our email list on the front page of the site, 21studios.com, you'll see that, get updates when we have like tickets coming out, pre-order, early bird specials, all kind of stuff. So come out to the event, meet the speakers, meet me, shake hands, grab a cigar, grab a drink, or of course, watch the speeches go down in real life, meet the speakers, have dinner with them, have coffee. They actually care about you guys, man. They really do. The guys I find for these events, and your feedback to them in real life is really very useful for them, right? It's not the noise of the internet where you can't see people and they're anonymous and all that. There's actually speakers will meet you, man. These authors and speakers on YouTube and stuff that you guys know. These are friends of mine, and your feedback in real life is very powerful for them. It tells them like what's important to their fan base, what's important to you as a fan, what kind of challenges you have, what kind of questions, what you want to know, what you want to hear from them. It helps them sharpen their message, right? You've heard this the saying, the phrase, "Steel sharpens steel." At our events, it's what goes on in real life, very very intense level. So show up, coming out to Orlando, Florida, have a good time. Attending 2022 later this year. It's our 16-year anniversary. Good time, good as time as ever is coming out. It's not the 20-year anniversary, but that'll be a couple years, right? And finally, on the page, you'll see the crypto thing. So if you want to donate crypto, you're more than welcome to do that. Those are Bitcoin addresses and other crypto addresses you can donate crypto to. Later this year, too, we'll accept tickets in crypto as well for the first time in a while. So we're happy to do that. I got no problem with crypto. I think it's pretty cool. All right, man. This closing segment got a few more tidbits and ideas to put out. So first of all, I'm gonna make a few follow-up videos to this video, kind of more on this whole YouTube suspension issue. The first one's gonna be a video about alternatives, competitors to YouTube that are kind of springing up past couple of years, and even recently. There are some viable options. I don't think it's time to abandon ship yet with YouTube. Like I said, they are the best out of the big tech options. I don't think they're that. I don't agree with what they did, obviously, like at all. I was pretty mad about it, like a lot of you guys. But they're still like a lot better than Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and crap like that for responding to an appeal and doing the right thing when push came to shove, right? But I will do a video on competitors to YouTube and alternatives, what I think about them, the best options, stuff like that. I'm gonna do another video as well on why I think this happened, actually diving into some theories on it, some opinions that I have, some opinions that friends sent to me privately leading up to it, and then also you guys' theories as fans in the comments. What you guys thought, what was kind of popular, and I'll give you my thoughts on what you guys think too. And there's no smoking gun. I'm not going to tease you guys with that kind of bullshit. We don't know why this happened. Is it the bottom line? And that's a problem in and of itself. But I got some opinions on what happened. So do you guys, and we'll dive into that in a future video pretty soon. And I'll probably make fun of the haters in that one too. So stay tuned. I'm also going to do a follow-up video after that on my opinions legally for big tech and kind of what they do with free speech. I'm not obviously an attorney or like a legal philosopher. I'd be amateur as an entrepreneur, right? I care about the law. I care about what these platforms do. I care about how they enforce policy and contracts and stuff like that. I care a lot about free speech as an American and as an entrepreneur that I run a media company. So I have some opinions on that. Again, I'm not like some super duper, I'm not an attorney or a legal philosopher, an expert of any kind, but I have opinions, particularly after this all happened, right? And it's really kind of made me think and chew on like all the stuff going on in America with censorship and cancel culture and free speech. So we're going to go over that, not only in general for America, but also specific to Florida. There's some Florida laws that might help out with some of this stuff and other ideas too, like Supreme Court weighing in, stuff like that. So stay tuned for that video. The one thing YouTube didn't see in my appeal video was the American flag, 13-star original flag that flies over my desk every day right here at 21 Studios headquarters in Orlando, Florida. And to me, that reflects not only America, what I love about it most, our founding, but also the manosphere itself in terms of its spirit, in terms of its attitude. The manosphere, in my view, as I stated recently in my State of the Manosphere address at 21 Summit to the manosphere itself, is basically it's the real counterculture, right? I don't think political conservatism is and all this other crap that people talk about. It's not. The manosphere is. For example, conservatives in politics, they'll bend the knee to feminism and the kind of female-centric social order we live in, all this stuff, right? The manosphere doesn't. And that puts us very squarely against this whole woke establishment, this feminist woke establishment. And no other part of culture is doing that, right? Just the manosphere is, particularly in America, but even throughout the West, other Western nations. So you guys didn't see that in the appeal video, but that's something I see every day in my office right here. And I keep that in mind when I think about the manosphere and fighting for it. I found it when I was very young at 18 years old as a kid, early 17. I found it actually in 2005, technically. But I've been fighting for it ever since, to build it, to help it go stronger and grow bigger, to, unify a lot of the speakers and the ideas, bring them together. Even when we don't agree on everything, we agree on a lot of fundamentals. And by getting together and talking to each other, we can amplify that message. That's the real spirit of the Manosphere and the spirit of 21 Studios and the 21 Convention, is bringing all this together and amplifying it for a real revolution and a renaissance of masculinity and of men and of traditional common sense values like masculinity and femininity and family and stuff. So this community has changed my life for the better, and I've done everything I can to give back to it and to protect it. And I'm going to fight hard now, harder than I ever have. And I've been fighting for 15 years. I'm going to keep fighting. And this whole experience at YouTube has been like a major gut check, like getting kicked in the balls, right? But ultimately, I love it. I'm going to keep fighting for it. I appreciate you guys' engagement, your support, everything you guys do as fans and subscribers, from liking videos to comments to donations. It means a lot to me. So I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. And I appreciate everything you guys do as fans. Peace.